What's up, my Century Unit? It's the Century Man here. So, this is my review of Raw's War for the 7th of April 1997. In my last Raw review, I got like the dates wrong. I said like the 4th of April 97. My apology, it's the 7th of April 97. Anyway, so this episode of Raw was in a small place in Indiana. I think it's called Muncie. This episode of Raw, a bit of a downgrade than the previous episode of Raw from the 31st of March. But yeah, some moments, but nothing very important. So the first match to kick off this episode of Monday Night Raw, we got Owen and Bulldog. They are at the time the WWF Tag Team Champions, and also Bulldog is at the time was the current European champion. They taken on the Godwins. Before that, they cut a promo. I think Owen cut a promo. Basically thanking Bret. We'll get to Bret Hart later on in this review. That he kind of thanked Bret, for basically because at the time Owen and Bulldog they were still a tag team champions, but they kind of like at each other's throats. He kind of thanked them with. He said, without Bret, me and Bulldog will be still feuding. And he sent a message to Shawn Michaels that, we'll get to Shawn later on in this review. He's on the show. That, you say nasty towards Bret, we're going to destroy you. So, yeah, the first match to kick off the the 7th of April's episode of Raw from 1997. Yeah, Owen and Bulldog taking on the Godwins. That is Phileas and Henry. Phileas is the featured Midian, part of the Ministry of Darkness. That would be in the Attitude Era. It was just predictable. It was an okay match, it's just predictable that Owen and Bulldog will get the win. They're kind of a lot like split screen interviews, with I think with Shawn Michaels says, I think he said like I'm gonna, upsell a lot of people. It's live TV, what you can do, and there's a split screen interview with the Road Warriors. So I think they said they're gonna April 12th. We're gonna be tag team champions, something like that. They do a lot of split screen episodes of this episode. I don't want to get into it, but anyway, so Bulldog and Owen got the victory. A controversial victory because Owen wasn't illegal. He wasn't tagged, but whatever. So afterwards, you got the Road Warriors coming down to the ring, and then you got the Godwins about grabbing like I think they're like it's a slip bucket full of like it's a slip bucket. He's about to throwing the I think they were animal food or something like that. They're about to throw the slip onto Owen and Bulldog, but instead they accidentally, Bulldog Owen got out of the way the last minute. They accidentally thrown it towards the Road Warriors, and then the Road Warriors, attacked both the Road Warriors and the Godwins brawl a little bit, and then there was a interview segment after this with Owen and Bulldog. They kind of laughing towards the Godwins throwing the slop, or I don't think it was slop. I think it's like animal food or something like that. They said like, oh, we civilians, we're educational, we don't. I think they're like, typical with the typical Americans, typical hillbillies, fellow Americans, in Canada and England, we don't do this. We don't we don't wear face paints and carry like slip buckets. We're educational and civilian. So and then after that, and then Austin, yeah, and then you got Austin trying to go near. You had Austin, trying to gate crash, going after, Owen and Bulldog, but yet referee stopped him. And then the next match we got Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on Billy Gunn. You had the Honky Tonk Man on commentary. I'm guessing he's a new client, Billy Gunn. He's carrying like the broken piece of the guitar from the previous week. The previous week he wanted to pick Jesse James, the future Road Dogg, as his next client, but instead he smashed the guitar. I'm guessing Billy Gunn. At the time, Billy Gunn was not really doing anything ever since the Smoking Guns broke up. I think at the time, Billy Gunn was gone from the company. Yeah, he came back, part of the Brawl for All again, being by Buzzer being at WrestleMania 15. Um, the match was just basically showcasing Austin building up, the match with Bret Hart at Revenge of the Taker. Anyway, so another split screen interview with Owen and Bulldog. Owen says, for Austin, you gate crash the parade, you poke your nose in our business. How it feel? We're gonna poke our nose in your business. There's a lot of Owen and Bulldog in this show. I'll get to my final ratings of this Raw at the end of this review. So in the end, Austin hit the Stone Cold Stunner onto Billy Gunn, not badass Billy Gunn, just Billy Gunn. So and afterwards you got Honky Tonk Man. He basically said to Billy Gunn, I've been watching a lot of tapes about you, and we're gonna said about like let's give you a haircut, nice sideburns, you can't it's you can't like go bend down the knees and thank me, blah blah blah. He didn't really say blah blah blah. Get to the point. So let's ride, and then something like that. And then Billy Gunn once for the second week in the world, the second week of the row, you had Billy Gunn just turn on Road Dogg, not Road Dogg. He hit Honky Tonk Man in the face. That was it. I think they kind of like end up like not collabing. I don't know. This is all weird. I saw like this is a long time ago. See, like this is an old WWE clip. You had a, because this was the start of the formation of the New Age Outlaws, and then end up turning like Honky Tonk Man as their manager. I don't know. It's a long time. Anyway, so it's just what it is. Like second week in a row. Billy. Jesse James, future Road Dogg, declined to be like Honky Tonk Man's manager. And then 1 week later, Billy Gunn declines the offer to become Honky's new manager for him. So the next, wrote it down by the way. So the next one, this is gonna ramble a little bit. We got the debut of the commander of the Truth Commission. So I'm gonna keep the key points, otherwise it'll be a very long fucking review. I'm trying to keep it like a 30 to 40 minute review. So yeah, basically, what he said like the criminals is, I don't know if he said rue or ruin the legal system, and I'm gonna bring my Truth Commission to show you what Americans about the meaning about democracy. I'm trying to keep it short and simple, folks, and I got in my hands a tape interview of a man speaking the truth. It doesn't carry the banner of the red, white, blue of you liberal Americans, and it's Bret Hart, and Bret Hart's in South Africa, and also he brings up that Raw's gonna be in South Africa in the next episode. We'll get to that. That's the go home show to Revenge of the Taker. That's next time. So anyway, so Bret did a promo. Looks like in a toilet. He looks like a toilet or locker room. I'll try to keep Bret's promo shortly. Get to the key points. He said about I'm in a country that knows the meaning of respect. Yeah, he calls Steve Austin a hyena. Running his mouth acting like he won. And Nicole Cycle said, he's got like, what was it, $1 million body and a 10 cents brain. His promo looks, there's no production value when Brett did that promo in South Africa. I wish they like taped, like mic him up a bit. It looks like he's, I don't know. That's just me. So anyway, there was a video package or videotape of Brett in South Africa waving the South African flag. It's yeah, like in the opener, I'm going to talk about briefly. You had Owen and Bulldog carrying the Canadian flag and the British flag. That's in America, but when Brett holding the yeah he's when he's bringing the this was in the ring. He's bringing the South African flag, yeah, because he's respect the people in South Africa because hates the despise the fans in the United States and America. So moving on to the next interview, the next segment is basically Vince McMahon interviewing Shawn Michaels. This is a good promo. This is kind of like the promo of the night. Really saved. This is the more talk about this Raw. Shawn went into Bret Hart speaking the truth. Said about like the WWF, expose his family, but it was Bret's idea to bring his mother and his father on TV, expose his sister and his child. He's doing it for a buck. They call it bucks. $1. He's doing it for the Omega dollar. And also he brings out like he brings up like when he beat Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12. He brings up when he was WWF champion. If you go retro, it was WWF back then. Right now it's WWE. So anyway, so he said about like the reason why he came back because to see Shawn Michaels and the WWF fall flat on his face, and Shawn says I Shawn Michaels and the WWF never fall flat on the face. I think it brings out like they did the best business in 6 years. I don't know if that's true when Shawn was the world champion in 1996. I don't want to get into it. So it was rambling, but it's passionate. He says, if the fans want to yell at Sid, they yell at Sid. You yell at me, and he said Bret talks about his WWE fans in Calgary, and the reason why that's the reason why he came back to the WWF. That was a bunch of bullshit. And when Shawn says horseshit, they did not bleep the S word or did horse, like silence the word shit. They just kept it on. That was cool, you know. Anyway, so he really speaks the truth about, oh yeah, you're so obsessed about me and the WWF championship, and I think he says, this is gonna be your total destruction, and and I'm trying to keep it short and simple, folks. I don't want to talk about it too much. Go and find it on YouTube. Just find it. You can probably find it. It just Sean gives us a heart to heart promo. Says like yeah, they also bring up footage of when Bret attacked Sean and when Bret attacked The Rock. Rock at the time he was Rocky Maivia. And he brings up like he didn't really mention WCW. He says rival organization, and he stabbed the WWF in the back. He's totally against the warning by Owen Hart and Bulldog, and he ends it like I know Bret's not gonna like this. I'm gonna like pull off my clothes off. He didn't really do it, by the way, and dance. He kind of like leaned at Vince like a pole. I don't know why he did that. And also brings up it brings on when Bret says about Sean. He's got tattoos and he danced. He's got piercings, and Sean says they like me, you idiots. It's kind of true. I don't want to get more in details about it. I think Sean as a babyface was good. I think he should never turn heel at SummerSlam '97. That was a terrible mistake. That was a mistake in my opinion. yeah, it was just Sean being Sean, you know, and also it brings up like when Brett being Brett's as a bad guy, he's always a bad guy. He's hating my guts. I hate his guts. We hate him. We've been feuding like inside the ring, outside the ring. That's true. Because I think in this middle time period, they were feuding, and I think not too long. This later on in the year that they ended did the. I think like Sean did the Sunny Days promo. Things like Brett cheated on his wife with Sunny Tammy Sitch, and they end up fighting, and that's another topic for another time. So, anyways, Owen and Bulldog came down, trying to beat out Sean. Sean escaped the ring, grabbed the chair, trying to defend himself, and that was it. So it was a good promo. It was getting the heart to the people about Bret Hart, speaking the truth about Bret Hart, like he's doing it. Yeah, he's doing it for financial gains. He sell his mum for a book. A book is $1, but I like it. So moving on to the next one. So the next one, this is the third match of the night, and this is a tag team match, the second tag team match of the night, or really I think it's the last one of this episode of Raw. We got the Headbangers. That is, was it Marsh and Thrasher? They taken on Barry Horowitz and Freddie Joy Floyd. Short and simple, quick result. Headbangers defeat Barry Horowitz and Joy. Was it Freddie Joe Floyd. I know who Barry Horowitz is, but this Freddie Joy Floyd, don't know, no clue. So and then the next match we got a no holds barred exhibition match. We got Ken Shamrock taking on Vern White. During the tag team match between the Headbangers and versus Barry Horowitz and Freddie Joy Floyd, I hate this split screen interviews, man. They're doing it every single time. I don't know. That's just me. Because at the time Raw was a 2-hour show, trying to fill in everything in. Anyway, so Vern White says, "I give it all my guts." Actually, I don't really give a shit, man. I'm moving on. I hate. They do it a lot of the time. Split screen interviews. I wish they do it after the match. Because at the time Raw was a 2-hour show. Don't. It'd be a brief interview. Anyway, so the next match, like I said, Ken Shamrock versus Vernon White. This is the worst match of the show. This is, I don't really call it Ken Shamrock's first official match or second official match, because he had a match with Billy Gunn. This was the Raw before Mania 13. I don't know. This stuff, it was a shoot fight type of thing. Crowd did not give a shit. Things bring up the Ultimate Fighting pay-per-view. They're gonna do it on May the 30th. Because at the time the UFC wasn't big. It's big right now, but back then it was still a little kid. But it's still a pup. The UFC. Compare it right now, it's fucking huge. Biggest buy rates. The crowd did not give a shit. It planned. I think it's part of during early days of Shamrock's run in the WWF. Doing these type of matches. No one gives a crap, man, because this is the reason why the Brawl for All did not work, because people don't want to see an actual shoot fight. They want to see professional wrestling. They want to see actually people getting actually hurt. People just want to see this scripted wrestling. Try to keep it short and simple. Shamrock just beat the fuck out of Vern White with punches, and that was it. No one gives a shit. Move on. And then Shamrock, and then JR interview Ken Shamrock, says I got carried away. Then you got Vader came along and had this confrontation between Shamrock and Vader. I don't know really truly had a match. I don't think they really had a match. Vader and Shamrock on paper, it looks good. It could probably be a good match. A good rivalry between Vader and Shamrock. The Shamrock shout to Vader, "Fuck you." Wow. Yeah, didn't blur out the F word, the F bomb, but So yeah, yeah, the next match, and also there was a little bit blood in the on the canvas because Vern White got fucked up by Ken Shamrock. Um, this is 20 plus years, 20 years before Brock Lesnar fought Randy Orton at SummerSlam in 2016. Anyway, so the next match we got Vader taking on Frank Stiletto. I don't really give a shit. Um, yeah, I don't really give it. I don't really give a shit. Um, sorry about that. I think like during, I think like actually I'll get to the Owen Bulldog thing um shortly. So it was just a squash match. You know, Vader hit like one. I think it was two Vader bombs and a regular power bomb and a mini splash for the win. And then you got Gorilla Monsoon said about originally the original main event. It was supposed to be Psycho Sid versus Mankind, but instead I think like said like Sid got he's like a plane he missed his plane or suffered a an accident, and then he booked Steve Austin in a match, and Austin was a bit pissed off. I don't know what Austin truly said. You know, I'm not doing the voices by the way. I'm not doing the impression. I think he threatened Gorilla Monsoon with he's grabbed his knee braces. I'm gonna rub it around your fat head. You know, I don't care who, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Just because someone is not there, just because what he said. I'm trying to remember, folks. I think he said like just because someone's missing due to miss a plane or sick. He said like he basically booked Austin said to Monsoon to book him in the match against Bret Hart, want to hit Hitman's ass, or the bottom line, kiss my ass. He basically just want, I don't want, no one tells me what to do, stuff like that. But he's not heel. He's just basically just say, hey man, I don't want to. I just wrestle one match. He said I don't care about the show. You know, you know. He didn't really say don't care about the fans. I think he said that, but I'm trying to referring what he's saying. Says I'm not interested. He's not a heel. He's just an anti. Austin is Austin. He's an anti-hero. So anyway, so yeah, the next match, the new main event is Steve Austin taking on Mankind. We'll get to that shortly. I think it was during the Vader match that Owen and Bulldog were pissed off about this match in the main events of I think it was Revenge of the Taker. Yeah, he said like Sid he's a coward. You know he got screwed. This is a conspiracy. They stabbed Bret Hart in the back. It's not last time we see Owen and Bulldog on the show. I don't say it's too much. I think it's too much on the show, but I don't really care. So moving on to this is the final segment. This is really another good one. Yeah, Jr. interviewing Mankind. You can tell like Mankind is referring. He talks about like people who's in know me. I know the Undertaker and his fancy car. Would you imagine that? Be on a plane, smelling of your stench of your flesh for 14 hours, and imagine coming back home to your wife saying what's burning. You can tell like going into that Three Face of Folly thing. Mankind was just just this monster. Yeah, they're trying to freshen up the character, avoid to make it just I think it was kind of like one dimensional at this moment in time. It's good. It led up to JR doing these interviews, multiple series of Mankind interviews. Another topic for another time. Anyway, so what he said, like he brings up like holding my 3 year old daughter, says, "Daddy, protect me," and he brings up like white trash, I think throwing rocks and saying like die, Mankind died. I don't think they'll actually do that, towards Mick Foley, because Mick Foley, like he looks like he's a nice person, Mick Foley. But anyway, so he said like I can't, be on the road, get this white like scorned, getting spit on by an Undertaker fan. Main event for half money. Trying to get to the point where he's saying. Anyway, so and he brought the fuck. He didn't mention JF Kennedy, but bring up like he brings up JF Kennedy. When he got assassinated. You're not gonna see that in today's product because it's PG. But he said, here goes the piece of the president's brains." Wow, that's just fucking dark. And he brings up like what he's gonna do the Undertaker. He says, "You think the fireball is bad?" He said like to all the to the was it the women and the family who love their children. Don't order the pay-per-view. I'm not gonna be responsible. You know, you know, I'm not gonna stop until the audience is gonna smell. Was it the chalk flesh? You'd be nothing than burning body parts. I can't remember Mankind's promo that much, but only a bit. But it was good. I think he said nothing more than you'd be nothing more than body parts. And he brings up he unveiled like a present. It was a Mankind mask. We're gonna be twins. I think it's referring to the Undertaker. You'll breathe your last breath. And then the Undertaker's Gone played, and he said, Taker says, "Fire, brimstone, in Dalmatian. What do you know about this?" And then he said to Undertaker and not Undertaker, Paul Bearer, Mankind, Paul Bearer. By my apologies. He said to Mankind and Paul Bearer that your senses in Dalmatian. I'm gonna open the vaults of your souls, and it really setting up their match for the world title at Revenge of the Taker. And then let's move on to the main event. The main event, we got Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mankind. Okay, match. Nothing more important. In the end, you basically had Owen and Bulldog. I think they're near the crowd, going in, came through the crowd, trying to. What Owen says, they're gonna poke their noses in Austin's business. I think he mean it. It's just furthering up the rivalry between Austin and the Hart Foundation. At this moment in time, they're not really officially called the Hart Foundation yet. I'm gonna call them the Hart Foundation for the meaning for these reviews. So yeah, in the end you had, and also in the end you had Vader come out of nowhere because I don't know whether they were still a tag team at the time between Mankind and Vader. Um, he was going for Austin, but instead accidentally hit Mankind instead. He had the Road Warriors showing up, attack Owen and Bulldog because they were challenging for the tag titles at Revenge Taker. Mankind and Vader brawling, Paul Bearer, being the peacemaker. They hugged it out, and that was the end of the show. So I give it a 6 out of 10. Nothing very important. Like the matches, I don't report a single match on the show. They're not really bad matches. The only thing in the bad for me has to be the split screen interviews. For me, it was just like too much. God damn. Honestly, if you do it once or twice, I'll be okay with it. But every single time, you have to go with a split screen interview. Split screen interview. The whole Shamrock and Vern White thing, that was bullshit. I like MMA. Don't get me wrong, but doing a shoot fight in it just had no business to be in pro wrestling. We're just there, do it for more for the script and entertaining. No one wants to see a shoot fight. It's just like making Ken Shamrock strong, building up Ken Shamrock. I think Shamrock should be in the Hall of Fame for without him, you don't see guys like Angle and like tough motherfuckers, or Goldberg in WCW. Bringing that fight feel. You don't get guys from or guys and women who came from the UFC. Shamrock is the first guy. Actually, it was Ludwig Borga was the first guy came from the UFC. Then Shamrock, then Dan Severn, and years later in our current timeline with Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Matt Riddle, who's also came from the UFC. So yeah, in the good you had mostly Sean's promo, Mankind's promo was good, / Undertaker's promo was good as well. The matches were okay. It don't make me go watch this Raw again. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. So hope you enjoyed my review of Raw is War for the 7th of April 1997. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the like, click the bell, and yeah, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later, folks.